Good morning, third graders. It's a bright and sunny day outside today. I got my problem solving hat on, so I hope that you've got your problem solving hat on because today is problem solving day. Okay, so we're going to use everything that we know about doing problem solving. We're going to break those questions down into little bitty pieces if we need to. We're going to go back and we're going to remember everything that we've learned so far about shapes, and we're going to tackle our problem solving today. Okay, so when we look at number 12, it says, how are the yellow shapes and the blue shapes different? How are they alike? So everything we've done for the last couple of days is comparing and contrasting, finding out how things are similar and how they are different. Okay, so today we're going to look at the yellow shapes, which are right here, and we're going to look at the blue shapes right here. And the first thing they want us to do is to find out how those shapes are different. Boy, I wish you were here so I could call on somebody to answer that question because I could see those hands shooting up in my classroom. Okay, how are they different? Okay, I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to just trace over. Look at this blue one. Look at this yellow one. What do we notice? How are they different? Remember things that we've talked about so far. We've talked about angles. We've talked about vertices. We've talked about length of sides. We've talked about parallelograms that have two pairs of parallel sides. We've talked about trapezoids that have one set of parallel sides. We've talked about quadrilaterals. What do we know about a quadrilateral? Is the yellow shape and the blue shape, are those quadrilaterals? Think about it. Okay, so did you come up with at least one way that those two are different? If I had to say how they were different, I would probably look at the length of the sides. Okay, now we need to look at how are they alike? Okay, that one might be a little bit easier for us too. Tell me one way that the yellow shapes and the blue shapes are alike. All right, let's move down to number 13. And number 13 says, which larger group of polygons do the yellow and the blue shapes belong to? Well, all we've talked about so far are quadrilaterals. Do those two shapes belong in the quadrilateral group? What do we know about quadrilaterals? What group do you think the yellow shape and the blue shape belong to? Okay, we look at number 14. Does the pink shape, here's our pink shape, does it belong to the group identified in number 13? Okay, we know we didn't put it into the quadrilateral group because quadrilaterals have to have four sides. Does the pink shape belong in this same shape or this same group? First of all, you need to write yes or no, and then tell me why does it belong in that group or why doesn't it belong in that group. Okay, put on those thinking hats and make sure that you're looking carefully. Okay, remember you can always pause this if I go too fast. Okay, we go to number 15 and we're back to quadrilaterals again, and let's review. A quadrilateral has, say it with me, four sides. So if a quadrilateral has four sides, they want us to draw a quadrilateral that's not a rectangle. Think about a rectangle. They want you to draw a quadrilateral that's not a rhombus. Think about what we know about a rhombus. And they want us to draw a quadrilateral that is not a square. So let's go back and let's review a rectangle. How many angles does a rectangle have? Count of three. 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. What kind of angles does a rectangle have? Count of three. Think time. 1, 2, 3 right angles. Good job. Okay, let's think, how many sets of parallel lines does a rectangle have? Think. 1, 2, 3. 2 sets of parallel lines. Good job. Okay, yes or no? Are all the sides equal? Think. 1, 2, 3. No, they're not all equal. Okay, let's go ahead and look at that rhombus. Okay, How many angles does a rhombus have? Think time, think time. 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. Okay, are the angles of a rhombus square angles or right angles? 1, 2, 3. No, there we go. That's what makes the difference from that. Okay, and how many sets of parallel lines does a rhombus have? Okay, let's go on to that square. And I'm not going to talk about the square. I want you to think about the square and everything that you know. So when you draw a shape, it can't be the rectangle, it can't be a rhombus, and it can't be a square. So what other shape could it be? I'm going to give you a hint. Draw me a shape that only has one set of parallel lines. What shape has one set of parallel lines? All right, we get to number 16, and on number 16, we're working with a money problem. Todd bought a jacket for $57, and he bought 2 maps for $9 each. What was the total cost? Okay, is that a one-step problem or is that a two-step problem? You have to think, okay, he's got his jacket for $57, but he bought 2 maps for $9. What was Todd's total cost? Boy, we're doing a lot of thinking today. Okay, you can always go back. Let's go to number 17. Now, number 17, they want us to be really creative. It says use appropriate tools. Well, they don't want us to use math tools. Third graders, they don't want us to use a ruler. They don't want us to use things that we're used to using in math. They want us to think out of the box. They want us to think of things that maybe you have at home that you could use. Because Victoria wants to make 2 same-sized rhombuses. What tools can she use? Now remember that rhombus is going to have those sides that need to be equal. So let's think, what are some things that you may have at home that might be equal sides or equal sizes? I'm going to give you one example. I know if I had toothpicks, toothpicks are the same length, so I could make a rhombus using toothpicks. Now I need you to think, is there anything else that you could find at home that would be the same size so that Victoria could make her rhombus? Okay, so that one you're going to have to go looking around the house. You're going to have to be a scavenger or a detective, and you're going to find some things that are the same size that you could do number 17. Okay, number 18. Oh, they say it's that higher order thinking. There we go, because higher order, they always want us to think a little bit harder. So Jezelyn needs to find a 3 by 3, a 4 times 6, and a 7 times 2. She draws area models to solve the problem. What polygon group do her area models all belong to? And remember we said to find the area, it's the length times the width. Okay, so if this is my length and this is my width, 3 times 3. This is my length. This is my width, 4 times 6. This is my length. This is my width. So we have 7 times 2. Okay, so we know if we're going to use an area model, we could use our unit cube. So let's look at this one. Okay, if I used unit cubes, and I sure wish I had my unit cubes here today that we could draw those out. How many unit cubes would I need going down? We would need, see if we can draw them. I'm not going to be able to draw those very neatly today though. Oh, what's my stamps look like? Oh, no, that's not going to work. Okay, I was hoping. Okay, let's go ahead and just go to our pen tool. Okay, so she's going to need to draw 1, 2, that's not very neat. I know, I am so sorry, and 3, and then she needs 1, 2, and 3. And then what would we need to do? We would need to fill in the rest of those, wouldn't we? Okay, so then we would put another one here. And again, I can't draw very neat third graders using this pencil. Okay, so if we have the length is 3 and the width is 3. Oopsie. What shape did she just draw? And I know that's not very neat, but what shape did she just draw? Okay, if her length is 4 and her width is 6, what would this one be? I need you to draw those out for me. If her length was 7 and her width was 2, what would that shape be? And then below each one, would you tell me what shape she drew? Did she draw a trapezoid? Did she draw a rhombus? Did she draw a square? Did she draw a rectangle? What are the shapes that she drew? So please draw those out a little bit neater than I did. Okay, this bottom part, I'm going to change the directions for you because you know, Mrs. Brosick, sometimes I don't like the way that they word those problems. So we're going to change that a little bit. Okay, so if you have a second, run and get a sheet of paper for me real quick. And then I'm going to start labeling these and you can label yours when you get back. So run, find a sheet of paper for me. Okay, good. I bet you have a sheet of paper and I bet you have a pencil all ready to go. Okay, on your paper, going down, I want you to put A, and then I want you to go to the next line and I want you to put B. Go to the next line and I want you to put C. Go to the next line, put D, then E, then F. So yours is going to look A on one line. And again, I cannot write like this. Okay, we're going to have B on the next line and then just keep going down like that for me. All right. Instead of drawing lines, we're going to find out what all of these shapes have. Okay, let's review. We know that a convex polygon, the sides are going to point out. We know what it means to have 4 sides. To have no equal sides, that means you're not going to, we know a rectangle has 2 sides that are equal, okay? But if it has no equal sides, nothing's going to be equal. Okay, 2 sets of parallel lines. That means you're going to have, they're never going to cross. 2 sets of lines that are never going to cross. And finally, the last one, 4 angles. Okay, so what I need you to do is I need you to look at shape A. Is this a convex polygon? Are the angles or the corners pointing out? Pointing out, pointing out, pointing out, pointing out. So A would be convex. So we're going to write a couple of things for each one. So for A, would you please, I'm not going to try and write convex. Would you write convex beside A and then put a comma for me, please? Because A is convex. Don't forget that comma. See if I can get my comma in there. It's not letting me put my comma. Okay. And then look, let's look at 4 sides. Does A have 4 sides? It does, doesn't it? So we're going to go over here, and after our comma, we're going to put 4 sides. Okay. Does A have no equal sides? Okay, so look at the size of this one, and look at the size of this one. Are any of those sides equal? Doesn't look like they're equal to me, so we would put down no equal sides. So far we have convex, 4 sides, no equal sides. Does this shape have 2 pairs of parallel lines? I see 1 pair of parallel lines, but this is not parallel to this. So can we write this one down? Nope, can't write that one. So all we have for A so far is convex, 4 sides, no equal sides. Does shape A have 4 angles? We'd have an angle here, we'd have an angle here, we'd have an angle here, and we'd have an angle here. So does it have 4 angles? So we would write down 4 angles. So again, for A, you're going to have convex, 4 sides, no equal sides, 4 angles. Okay, so then you're going to move on to B, and I'm going to let you work on that. Okay, make sure you ask Mom and Dad if you have any questions. Okay, so for B, you're going to look, is it convex? Does it have 4 sides? Are there no equal sides? Are there two pairs of parallel sides? Does it have four angles? And you will write down everything that it has. And then you'll do the same thing with C. Okay, keep those problem solving hats on until you're completely done. And Miss Jack, talk to you later.